Well, it is a freezing cold Sunday, minus 11 Celsius. I'm not even going to do the math. I don't care. It's cold. That is not cold. That is nice. I did my opening video yesterday. I did my top 10 list. Obviously, I was a little late doing my videos yesterday because I was cold. I got home. I actually had a bath. Laid in the bath for a while. Then I had to sleep. I did. And the cold yesterday really, it really sucks the life out of you. It was really cold. And maybe it's because we've had a warm winter, or maybe it's because I'm not driving for the most part. You know, when you go and drive in the meadows and it's +1, it's not like driving here where it used to be historically, January, February, -20, -18. I know there's been days, many days over the last 2 decades I drove where the conversation was, is it too cold to race? To the point where they had to put in rules. I think -30 with the wind chill. Anything below that and they call it a day. And that's happened many times. So yesterday was by far the coldest day that I've experienced since the pandemic, to be honest, arrived. And it was a doozy, but a good training day nonetheless. I went over a lot of the horses, but I want to go over everybody right now. This is a time of year where I want to talk about all the babies all the time. The 3-year-olds are coming back good. I know. You know what? Next week, we don't have a ton of 3-year-olds coming back, and they're all coming back in Kevin, Harry, and Jason's barn. So next week, although they're at different speeds, I'm gonna ask the guys Monday or Tuesday if they would mind training in groups. They don't have to go in sets. Jason's got 7 or 8. Harry and Kevin got 2 or 3 each. It's only 12. If they went in 3 sets of 4, that would be good. I guess we could ask them to go in sets. Or 4 sets of 3, Kevin, Harry, and Jason. So we'll see. I'll try and work that out this week. I know every year a lot of people are like, hey, can we see the 3-year-olds? What about the sophomores? We see the babies, but what about them? It's difficult. I mean, it's not impossible, but when they're training down at different speeds, it's somewhat problematic sometimes, but I think we can get it done this week. So we'll try and have a 3-year-old drone video, because we are having our 2-year-old's drone on Saturday. So maybe if Curtis could bring an extra battery, we do they could go in between the sets or something. And if it's cold, a little bit cool, like it looks like it's going to be, might give us a couple extra minutes on the 2-year-old side just to catch our breath, because we try to get them done. We've been running them off pretty good, 8:30 to 11:30, 12 so far this winter, which has worked out great. 8 sets seems to be a much better number. And then if we could do maybe the 3-year-olds in between, that'd be cool also. So let's get to the 2-year-olds. I want to properly articulate how every horse is. I know every week we get somebody saying, why didn't you mention my horse? Or after the drone, geez, I thought this horse went well. Why didn't you mention that horse? Keep in mind, these are all subjective. These are all my view of how the 2-year-olds are. And as I said, next week maybe I will get some other views from other trainers that have gone with the horses. Jimmy, this might be his last week. He works in the race office, so it might be Jimmy's last week going with the babies. If we're lucky, maybe he can come out on Saturday. Good kid, he's quiet, and he likes to, he does a good job with the baby, so he'll be sorely missed, if and when he leaves. It'd be nice to get back racing, though. And then maybe I'll get James to speak about a couple of his also, and get to meet some of the staff maybe. So it's possible. We'll look into that. So let's get right to it. Almost There Boss was very good again yesterday. Brody came first over with him. That was the set I was off. Now, I had put Bomb Hugger in that set, but then she developed a little heel scratch from the bell boots. So we weren't going to train her with bell boots. I thought that she needed the weight. So I had said, Greg, just go out and train her by herself. I don't want to get her jostled and have her make another break. I want her to start getting confidence. Just go train her by herself. I watched her go. She was fantastic. I think 242, and very good. That's pretty much all we went this week. It was just cold. We wanted to work on moving them around and I'm not really worried about the speed anyway. You know, as I said, you know, everybody kind of worries about speed, but it means nothing. All these horses, a lot of them anyway, have been halves and 10, which is more than enough this time of year. There's no need to keep pushing on them like that. We'll continue to go a mile and a half, and then when the corks come off this year, a lot of them will be much more positioned to be pushed very hard. So Almost There Boss, they went a mile and a half yesterday. I think 2:41, 2:42 also. He came first over, ended up second to a very bullish, not hot, not crazy, just confident and brash, I guess, Luck of the Dragon. Almost There Boss was second, but he's been fantastic every single week. He was good again yesterday. Amor Diener beat them up pretty good on Wednesday, I guess. Beat everybody on Wednesday. Now, I had Duke Dio in with that set yesterday, and Duke was acting up. He got a little swat with the whip before we turned to go our mile, and he was hot. Like, not crazy hot, but he knew I wasn't playing around, and it was all business yesterday. I cleared to the front getting into the 5/8 turn. Amor Diener sat my back, and I growled at him coming out of the turn, and he was making it. He was flying. Amor Diener was coming to me, but didn't quite catch me. He was very good yesterday, and he's been very good. I reached out to a couple of clients about partnering with me on Amor Diener. I did put a small percentage, 20% in a group setting, but it being stake season, I guess I can't be too conservative when it comes to this time of year. So I'd reach out to a couple of people about partnering with me on this Colt. I think it'll probably get done this week. Arches Rainbow was absolutely great again. My only concern with Arches Rainbow is she's a little picky at her food after she trains. So maybe we need to change her diet up, put her on stuff for her guts a little more. I'm going to do that this week. I'm going to go over to the tack shop and see what they have over there. I know there's every week we have a mountain of people saying, try this product, try that product. It's been great, and I appreciate it. It helps. Gastrogard's just a little too expensive. You know, it would cost us an extra $300-400 a month to put her on Gastrogard. That's not going to happen. So we'll look for something a little more economical to put her on it. I'm sure there's something out there that'll help. Plus, changing her diet up. She eats good at lunch and supper, but Jeff, the caretaker of her, told me after she trains hard, she doesn't eat her hay cubes up right away. She's a little picky. She's not sulking, so we'll just change things up with her. I love this filly. James had said to me last week, you know, this week it's supposed to be really cold out. They say there's a cold snap coming. So what we might do is a couple of those horses that are training really good, that are still a little light, there's maybe 3 or 4 of them, turn them out for a couple of weeks. I've seen the results of the horses we've turned out. It's worked very, very well. You know, I'm always a little self-conscious about stopping your training schedule to stop with horses and turn them out and interrupting them in that manner. I'm not a big fan of that, but at the same time, Procrastinator was much better when we turned him out. Mischievous Rose, all those horses we turned out for a little break, all came back very good. So I think I am leaning towards that. Maybe next week, giving a week or 2 off to a horse like Arches Rainbow, put some weight on, let her relax, might be the way to go. Better Be Sawyer was good again. Another filly. Little Rolly still in the straight. I said to Amy, she's probably just getting into speed, crossfiring a bit. I wouldn't worry too much about it. She's a ball of speed. Put a little set of brace bandages on her behind. I'm sure she'll be fine. So that will be this week's job. Blue Bayou Dio, another filly. I'd like to give another week or 2 off. I want to get her floor scoped. She just hangs on a line in the turns, but man, she can flat out fly. I was 5 lengths off the leader at the head of the lane yesterday and ended up winning the set by 2 lengths. She moves like a pacer. The only other horse I've seen show that speed this year so far has been that move from Bomb Hugger last week. But Blue Bayou Dio, just an absolute beast when you cut her loose in the straightaways. You just got to give her a little time and a little room in the turns, but I wonder why that is. Something tells me there may be a little something there. If there is, we can fix it, no problem. But I'd like to know for sure that there is or is not something there. If it's just that she's a baby and the corks and her knees are bugging her a little bit, no problem. Another good reason to back off for a little bit, because there's no shortage of raw speed, I can tell you that. Bomb hugger, as I said. I think we got her on the straight and narrow. I told everybody I wasn't going to be playing around 2 weeks ago. She went to do her work. She was in the right frame of mind, and you saw the results. She looked incredible. Then I watched her train yesterday. I thought maybe they'd have to nurse her around yesterday because no bell boots on her, but no, she was all business. She probably could have trained with everybody. She went as fast as they did. She was very good yesterday. Again, Century Invictus continues to get better and better, a little by little each week. James says, he sulks a little. He's typical Better's Delight. But I know the one time I went with him before we castrated him, when I put him in gear, he can really, really pace. So not really concerned with Century Invictus in any way, shape, or form. He'll round into shape as the year goes on. Confederate Cruiser was good again yesterday. Same type of thing with Better Be Sawyer. Little rolly in the straightaways. Now, it could be a number of things, could be a ton of things, or it could be something simple as she's just getting a little. So it'll happen in the straightaways. You'll see their ass end get over a little bit, and their hind foot comes up close to their quarter. That's called crossfiring. You hear that click, 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 or you can actually see them. They'll cut their quarter. That's crossfiring. So you can do a number of things. You can put a trailer on a shoe, which you'd have the normal horseshoe, and then you have a little piece off here, and the thinking and the idea is it just holds them a little longer and it allows them to widen out. So rather than on top of their quarter, they come out to maybe here. It works a lot of the times. It's pretty standard operating mode for crossfiring. But as it comes to this particular horse, I think both him and the filly, I don't really want to tinker too much with the shoes just yet. Don't want to get ahead of myself. Maybe just put a little set of brace bandages on the behind. Again, that's the idea, trying to widen them out, slow them down. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. A lot of this stuff is trial and error, as each horse is different. Certainly no concerns with this. I've been very happy with Confederate Cruiser and very happy with Better Be Sawyer. Just minor tinkers, I think, will fix that up. Duke Dio, as I said, tons of speed, big, powerful colt, but definitely needs to be a gelding. He spends the whole time wondering how to annoy you or how to get out of work, and that's just a typical stud thing. There's no need for him to be a stallion. So Tuesday he'll be castrated. He'll miss next Saturday's drone session. LSL was very good yesterday again. Now Colt goes with this horse, and Colt's just a big, hard-working, lovable guy. Just really works hard in the barn, but doesn't have a lot of experience on the track. So you see Colt do things where maybe people that would have known better, like Slim Jimmy, he made a break with him in the far turn last time, just chasing until he made a break. It's not the end of the world. These things happen, and that's how you learn. So Colt sticks to some of the horses that are pretty sure-footed, and LSL is one of them. I don't really feel the need to jump up and let LSL rock. He's a medium-sized colt. He's a small colt. It's going to be a medium-sized colt, and there's no need to jostle him at this point. He's done everything we asked him to do. So Colt can keep going with him for a while. If we have a chance to swap him out at some point, we will. But for now, Colt and Ellis are in lockstep. Isa 10, one of our best fillies overall, I think, but one of our best Ohio fillies. We got an extremely strong group of Ohio-bred trotting fillies. Again, the Colt side, they're nice colts. Prairie Fire, Slim Jimmy, a couple of the other ones I can't think of. But I think the clear leader on the Colt side is Voyage of Ice and Fire. Prairie Fire is closing in. He looks really, really good. And Slim Jimmy's our meat and potatoes horse. And don't take that the wrong way, please. Last year, we had a number of meat and potatoes horses, and one of them turned out to be our best horse overall for the year by money, by speed, and I think by overall ability. My Jazz was a very, very good 2-year-old that we never really talked about. So don't take it to heart if I say, oh, just a meat and potatoes horse. It's a good thing, too, sometimes. Great. Garden State Dio. Yesterday, got a little rolly down the lane. I said to James, all right, okay, maybe it's time. So I think Wednesday, the Trot and Hobbles will go on Garden State Dio for the first time. Certainly no concerns. I mean, her sister would run for no reason everywhere when she was training down. This filly just rolls off once in a while in the same spot. Middle of the straightaway, down by the wire, sometimes down the backstretch. In a turn once in a while, but not like, totally different from Spirited Dio. Big, good-looking, rangy gait. I love this filly a lot, and I think she could be a really nice filly. I think we will. We'll slide the hobbles on her and see how she feels on Wednesday. Grace. Not that anybody cares, but Gracie, her first training trip was on Saturday, officially. Very green, as you can imagine, but did her work well. I was happy with Grace, very happy with her. My only concern with Grace, she's one of these horses that coughs frequently. I'd given her some time off. She doesn't have a lot of mucus, but she will cough. So we're going to try and get some different supplements for a couple of these horses. They don't appear sick. They'll spike temperatures once in a while. So I don't know. We'll see what goes on with them. But for now, Grace is still training, and we're working on that cough. Granite Hill, I put the hobbles on him much better. Still big, loose, weak, floppy going trotter. But did his work well yesterday. On the left shaft, finishing up. Is he hitting? Or some of these horses, they get in the habit, right? They got those wide, sprawly gaits up front, and sometimes what they do is they're trying to find their gait behind where they don't hit themselves, where they don't interfere once in a while. So you'll see them with what's called dog trotting. They'll move their ass over to one side so that they can trot, but they can't make true, solid, raw speed. It's more of you can get you up into fourth gear, but there's not really a fifth. So you want to get them away from that whenever you can. I find anyway, it's important. So with Granite Hill, we added a gait and strap yesterday, still laying up in the gait and strap. Is something bothering him? Both him and Blue Bayou Dio will probably go get looked at in the next week or so. I don't think there's anything there. There doesn't appear to be anything there, but that doesn't mean there's nothing there. So it could just be that he's got to get stronger, widen out, find his way with the trot and hobbles on. I would say that's more than likely the case. But we'll see in the next week or so. He was very good yesterday. Finished up his mile really, really strong. He was coming to Tioga Sunshine. Now, he wasn't going to catch her because she's a bit of a powerhouse. But a good first trip with the hobbles on, no doubt. Harlan L. was great yesterday again. I can see what he's doing. He made a break on Wednesday. So, in the middle of the straightaway, I can see what he's doing. He's touching down low, left hind, runs out the straightaways a bit. He's doing that because he's trying to get away from touching. I can tell what he's doing mechanically. You just got to tinker with the shoes, maybe cover them up a little bit. Scalper, maybe even a pastern boot for those, pastern strip. For those of you that are horsemen out there, the strips are about that wide. They wrap around the pastern and there's Velcro there. Maybe put one of those on the left hind and a scalper. I don't want to tinker too much with his shoeing because this is a horse we have ag bars on up front to get him up over his knees. He's trotting strong. I'm going to use the word wants to do his work gingerly. He still pins his ears on his neck, but never looks to get out of work. I really like Harlan L. Even James said the other day, he was ready to work. He just rolled off and was on the left line hard. But he never, James always said, I don't like him. He's always sour, not wanting to do his work. He changed his tune the other day when he went with him. He looks better. I think he'll get there. Just his attitude and his grit. He's got that determination, like, I'm going to do it. In spite of you, I'll do it somehow. And I love that about him. And I think he'll get there. But we just got to tinker with him along the way. Now, we could square that toe up front a little bit. We could raise his head up a little bit. We could put a gait and strap on the outside to keep him, try to keep him away from picking at that left hind. We could do a number of things. I think first things first, we'll cover him up and see if we can get him. It's only, you would be surprised how a tiny little strip of something, just protection or a minor change in the shoeing, just these very, very incremental changes make such a big difference, and they do sometimes. It's a thing as a trainer I love about the game, seeing the different things that make such dramatic changes in the horse's training, and that's the spot where we're at now, right? The next hurdle will be as the corks come off and they change their gait, the weather gets warmer, you have to make changes again according to that. But right now, as we get into the heart, the end of the winter, I guess, the heart of the cold, definitely today, you get to see them grow, right? They get to throw that odd quarter in 35, 36, 37 at you, and you're like, oh, you might need to do this or do that. Harlan L., I was very happy with what I saw yesterday. Harvard Yard continues to train good. I know Tim's doing all he can to get us videos, and him and Jason do a great job getting them over best they can. They're trying to get the filly trained down too. She looked great the last video I saw, and everybody I talked to, when I see her in the stall, she looks exactly how I want her to see. So high hopes for me. I know we haven't had a lot of video evidence, but high hopes for me for Harvard Yard this year. Hill of Magic, good again. I lightened her right up. I know they had bell boots on her. I want to take those off also. Hill of Magic, I think, will find her best stride very soon. We had weight on her. She looked good. But looking good and getting to that next stage sometimes is that hurdle. You got to help them. We changed her shoes around dramatically, and we'll continue to change it if we need to. She's just interfering a little bit behind. And as I said to my partner Johnny on Hill of Magic, there have been horses that do the exact same thing. And I don't want to, pump your tires or say, hey, she looks like this horse or that horse. I can tell you a couple of horses right off the top of my head that stick out that did the exact same thing that Hill of Magic does. Also Pine and Yes, their whole life. Run out in the middle of the straightaways, get a little rolly sometimes, and make the odd break. You have to watch them training down. And if you don't believe me, just go back and look at their videos. That's the great thing about being on our YouTube channel and being a part of the stable is you don't have to listen to me if you think I'm full of shit. Go back and look for yourself. Yes, and Oso Pine's training down videos. Maybe early on when we put the hobbles on them, or put the hobbles on them, you see that same skip, that same roll. They're just trying to get it chewing at themselves. They will. They did, and she will too. Kathy with an eye, just green yesterday. We came out of the turn, and it was so windy, and the wind would pick up even grotesquely sometimes. We come out of the turn, and the wind hit us, and it was so cold. I mean, it would just take the breath right out of your lungs. And every single horse in that set made a break coming out of the turn. Every single one. 3-point blue chip, Kathy with an eye. Every horse, the wind hit them, and they just stopped and rolled off stride. Every one of them. I would like to tell you that's a learning experience, but I don't think we're going to experience that type of weather in a race with these horses. So I don't think it was. But nevertheless, they all come back up trotting and did their work. Kathy with an eye is a big slobby filly, and I think once she gets into work mode, this is the quintessential filly, you're going to see the starting gate, you'll be like, geez, I don't know, is she nice or not? You're going to see the starting gate, like, oh, she was okay. Second or third time behind the gate, you'll be like, oh my God, this thing's a monster. I could see her becoming that horse. Now, again, there's no shares of her, so it's not like, hey, go buy Kathy with an eye shares. That isn't it. I'm just giving you the straight goods on a horse that we're training down. So Kathy with an eye, although she wasn't superb yesterday, the makings of a good horse are definitely there. Our first horse to leave this year will be Loving Beauty on Monday. She's going to the sale for Tuesday. Just couldn't put it all together. Two of them couldn't. Her and $1 Million Swan could not put it all together. And I drew a line in the sand 30 days ago or more. You guys know that. And there's nothing against, whoever buys Loving Beauty, $1 Million Swan. I wish you all the luck in the world. But when it comes to these two particular horses, I just don't see what I need to see yet. So they're going. Luck of the Dragon is not going anywhere. Man, oh man. I think he's at the top of the heap for the pacing colts. Now, the reason I say this is because next month, we have the next generation payments coming up. So those of you who own Luck of the Dragon, my partners on the Colt, this will be the guy that we pay into the next generation stake. That'll be a $10,000 payment, American, next month. And if you have a problem with that, if you don't want to do that or you want to discuss it with me, please drop me a line. But I can honestly tell you, I truly believe this is going to be a nice horse. The way he's come forward from the rough, clappy-gated, raw horse that he was, and very green when we broke him, to now, it's really incredible. All these horses have turned into nice horses, but you could see it, right? But it just seemed like overnight, Luck of the Dragon figured it out, put it all together, put a game plan in his head, and now he's all business. Johnny goes to him and absolutely loves this horse. He moved him yesterday in the training set, and he looked like a man against boys going under the wire. Now, Almost Their Boss was coming to him, but the other ones were present. They didn't want to tangle with this guy. He looked like he was on another plane yesterday, and very impressed with Luck of the Dragon. So again, this is the type of year we want to have that dialogue also. It's important to have this dialogue. I want to put Luck of the Dragon, will likely be my early pick for the Colt division of the Next Generation Series. Voyage of Ice and Fire will be my early pick for the Trotting Colt division. The fillies, man, they are up for grab. We don't have any pacing fillies, but the trotting fillies, there's like literally 4, maybe 5 horses in the hunt. And of the top 1, 2, 3, I really don't know. I don't know, but it's an impressive crop of fillies. And it's not that we don't have an impressive crop of colts trotting and pacing, but I think there's one that stands out right now anyway. We can change later if we have to. We did it last year, but Luck of the Dragon, Voyage of Ice and Fire appear to be the top of the heap right now. I'm interested in Prairie Fire, the way he's coming on. And if Slim Jimmy happened to get in, maybe we had to, take out an OCD of Voyage of Ice and Fire, or he gets sick or he get hurt, and we needed a stand-in. Prairie Fire or old Meat and Potatoes Jimmy would do just fine. But I think right now, when you're pushing me on February the 10th, 2021, Voyage of Ice and Fire for the Colts, Luck of the Dragon for the Pacing Colts, the Phillies, I don't know. It's really going to come down to the wire. I'm going to talk to our groups also. We have, the clear leaders right now. I don't want to miss anybody, but I can tell you right off the top of my head, Isa 10 looks like she's amongst the top. Purple Aura also, and Of Tom. 3 horses that are legit solid. I know I'm missing somebody. I apologize if I missed a filly here. I'm just looking quick. I know there's at least one more. And I can't put my finger on it, but you could see a horse like Sweet on Pete or Hill of Magic or Kathy with an Eye by qualifying day become those types of horses. That's how good and deep our group of fillies are. A filly that I would count as 6th right now, I still believe could be a stakes filly. So a very, very deep division of trotting fillies. We'll have to make that decision together in the coming weeks. But for right now, Luck of the Dragon, Voyage of Ice and Fire, and TBA on the trotting side to be announced. Massive Profit took the hobbles off me yesterday. James loves this colt. He looked fantastic yesterday. Really impressed with him. Matt's MVP looked really good again. Another trotting colt that could come forward. He's in the mix. He's starting to put it all together and look really good. $1 Million Swan, as I said, our second horse that is going to be leaving us. He's leaving on Monday. Miss Mildred found an OCD in Mildred. Left hock, I believe. It's going to be popped out of there on Monday. She never was sore on it, but once you'll come in one day and it'll be popped out. It'll be filled out. And as soon as you see it, you're like, that hock looks a little big. Damn it. But better know now and get it out than later on. So Miss Mildred, we're going to take that OCD out Monday morning. 2 weeks in the stall. Generally, this is what we do. Now, we have some vets that watch this that'll make comments. So for an everyday, keep in mind, OCDs are all about placement in the joint. And I'm not a vet. I don't want to get into it, but if you go back and look at the video we made with Dr. Melissa McKee, she explains it very well. So I'm going to give you the Cole's notes. Where the OCD is plays a big role at the back of the joint, the front. I don't know why. I'm just telling you. And then also where it's situated in the joint, what it looks like. I assume this is a new one, so it's a little sharp. They're going to go in, take that OCD out. We're assuming it's one fragment. Take that OCD out. That will stay inflamed for a few weeks. So usually what we do is 2 weeks in the stall, and then we'll walk them in the jog cart, especially February, March, April. Walk them in the jog cart. They say hand walking. Who the hell can hand walk at a skating rink when it's -10? Put them in the jog cart. We'll sedate them if we have to with some tranquilizer. Walk them for a week. And then if the sutures come out good, the hock looks good, and everything looks like it's coming around good, start jogging them on that 4th week. Now, that isn't what a lot of people do. I know a lot of people that have had OCDs removed in other jurisdictions have said, a month in the stall and a month of hand walking, they told me. Well, it's your horse. Do what you want. But I'm just telling you, after all the OCDs we've had out, if it's not an OCD that's concerning, if the vet said, very run-of-the-mill OCD, and you see that swelling start to dissipate coming up to that 2-3 week mark, they take the sutures out and the hock looks good, then the hock's good, right? Sometimes you'll have, like we took them out of Grace. They're still big, and they're going to remain big. We bought Ailsund, and they were big. Those were problematic, but we took our time, a little more time with those ones. When the horses are run-of-the-mill, take it out, hock shrinks down, away you go. So that's what we're looking at with Miss Mildred. Miss Mildred, will have them out Monday. 2 weeks, Tuesday, we'll start walking her in the jog cart. 3 weeks, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, we'll start jogging her. That's our plan for Miss Mildred. Mischievous Rose continues to look good quietly. You guys don't pay attention to her, but you will, because she can really trot. A lot of people have said, what about Mischievous Rose? Mischievous Rose's mother is a sister to Globetrotting's mother, which makes her a direct relative. I really like this filly. When she puts on a show and she really, drops the hammer, she is beautiful. And I think you guys are going to see that soon enough. If you haven't, go back and look at some of her videos. This is a really nice filly. Of Tom continues to look good. She looked great again yesterday. Really happy with her. 1, 2, skip a few again. She's come a long way. Both her and Luck of the Dragon are the two that pop out of my mind. which ones have come the longest, the furthest distance from the starting point. These two for sure. Both when we broke them and started them, I'm like, oh, it's 1-2 skip if you won't trot. Luck of the Dragon looks terrible. You could see that there was something there, but would they get it? I was hoping they'd get it by February or March. By February or March, these things are one of our, and again, there's the other filly. 1-2 skip a few. My apologies to my partners on her. Again, these are the ones that come such a long, long way and look great. Peanut Butter and Jelly looked great yesterday. First time training with a head pole, I believe. She was flying on the end of it also, but as I said, no one wanted any piece of Luck of the Dragon. Prairie Fire, keep your eye on this guy. He might be one of the biggest movers of the spring. He's jostling for second or third best colt right now on the trotting colt side for Ohio. You may see him come forward in a big way in the next month or so. Procrastinator, he left the sale list. Looks better. Still a little coughing once in a while. A lot less nasal discharge, which is good. He's keeping his weight up. We do keep baycoxing him, so there's that. But for a horse we had such high hopes for, I think he went from all right, enough is enough, and I put him in the sale to I see something. He's coming now. I see a glimmer. Let's see what that turns into. Purple Aura amongst the tops of our fillies again. She was great yesterday. Bottled up, got out late, finished up strong. Just a really, really nice filly. Renegade Gypsy looked great again yesterday also. I'm always surprised how good this colt is for how big he is. He is a giant of an animal. Really impressed with Renegade Gypsy and continue to be every week. Resolute Bay made a little break in the same place he did before. I want to say we're working on it. I didn't change anything this week. Johnny figures maybe he gets spooked. Fine. We're just going to continue to spook him until he's not spooked anymore. And that's the only way for him to learn. He thinks I roared at a horse or I snapped the shaft of the whip and he rolled off stride. He could be 100% right, but that doesn't make it okay. Resolute Bay is going to have to get used to stuff like that. So what we might do is start jogging him in an open bridle. Maybe even train him Wednesday in an open bridle. We'll see. But just a few little tinkers with him. Rose Above It, have the hobbles on him. He's great. I'm going to make some shoeing changes on him, lighten him up front. He's got a lot of action. Those hobbles can work against him sometime, so we're going to lighten him up front. But very happy with the confidence I felt in Rose Above It this week. Rosie's Masterpiece continues to get better and better and better. This is a big powerhouse of a filly. Mario's Barn's strong. He's got some strong horses down there. Slim Jimmy looked good again yesterday. Johnny said he was on the right line, though. He jumped on a foot the other day. We'll get a head pull on him, Murphy blind in the inside. Keep going with old Jimmy. Spent continues to be very, very good. He looked great yesterday. James was very happy with him. The reason I'm speeding up, I see I've been talking, my video is going to cut off. Stonebridge Dolce continues to be out in the field for another week or two, and then we'll bring her back in. Stonebridge Acati trained great yesterday, did his work well, continues to get better every single week. Sweet on Pete might be the biggest mover of the week and into the future. Both her and Prairie Fire, keep your eye on these horses. Sweet on Pete, I thought looked great Friday. I don't even think she needs the hobbles anymore. I told them to take them off her this week. We'll see how she goes. 3 Point Blue Chip was one of the horses that made a break when the wind hit him. Well, it's just the way. I would love him to be superhuman. Love him to be Superman, super horse. He's not yet. He's just doing his work well in strong colt. We'll see where that goes. Taiwan on, much better. I can't really explain what happened on drone day, but she was much, much better yesterday. Tioga Sunshine won her set easily. Amy just came first over and power bombed them. She was very good and continues to be very good. Twin Bee Habanero, moved him down to Jason's barn. I said to Jason, just train him by himself for a couple of weeks. Just want to get some work into him. He's a big, big, green, growthy colt. I don't want to hurt him. I don't want to push him too much. Just take your time. He trained him yesterday in 250. He looked good. Twinkle in Her Eye was good again yesterday. Mario just keeps working her. Typical Better's Delight. Just does what she has to get by, but she's doing it right. Very happy with what I've seen from her. Unbeatable Kemp was awesome. Amy said she won the set. She might have. Her, Rose Above It, Arches Rainbow, and Spent right across the track, and we were smoking on the end of it. Unbeatable Kemp, very good yesterday. You Gotta Believe rolled off yesterday, made a little break, but he's been lights out since. Another Ohio colt, in case you're wondering. I knew I was missing a bunch of them. He was very good in the past. Run yesterday, but I'm not worried about that. Voyage of Ice and Fire made a break yesterday. I'm going to tinker with his equipment a little bit. Just got to watch him. He's such a nice colt. Just got to pay attention to him in the turns. He ran out away from the Murphy blind, and then I checked him. When I checked him, he just got a little fumbly and ran. Take that Murphy blind off, he'll be fine. Will to win Hanover was awesome yesterday. I got to give credit where credit is due. James has done a great job with this filly. And I don't generally subscribe to the cover them up like he loves to do. I make fun of him about it. I want the horses working hard. But in this case, he was right. Will to win Hanover looked incredible yesterday. She came first over, got a little goofy coming out of the turn, and then just swamped everybody. She was very, very good. And World for Two, another big colt like Twinbee Habanero. I'm excited about this colt, but I don't want to push him. James said yesterday he was on the right line a little bit more, a little rolly. He let his hobbles out. He thought I didn't know, but I do know. So I'm going to pull them back in and just put a bit burr on him rather than a head pull. A lot of the horses will hit that pull and then just kind of lay up on top of it. Just being a little rude sometimes or being a little uncomfortable, a little self-conscious. Put a little bit burr on them. It's a little circular piece of plastic, sits there. So when they grab that line, it kind of bites into them a little bit and they come off that line. I like using those when you get those horses laying on head pulls. For me, it just works better. So I think that's what we'll do. So that's all your babies. A long list today, but I hope you understand. I want to make sure, from here on in, I want to make sure everybody knows how their horse is right now. What faults they have, what strengths they have, and what we're going to do to either accentuate that or nip it in the bud in the coming weeks and months. And that is what I plan on doing. So 35 minutes of our babies. I hope you're up to date now with the 2-year-olds. I'm super excited about what I saw yesterday, and that's only trumped by hopefully what we're going to see next week. So hope you guys are having a great weekend. Take care.